It was almost Christmas. The other American students at London School of Economics couldn't wait to go home to the smell of roasted turkey and Douglas fir trees. Our family tradition was Chinese takeout and whatever was playing at the Quaker Bridge Mall. Not only was there no Christmas, but my father, raised by Orthodox Jews, was put off by religion of all colors and stripes. There's no after, he said. When you die, you rot in the ground. My sister, my brother, and I gathered around the menorah, and Mom would say, when I was a kid, we got socks and paper clips for Hanukkah. Then we would sing the prayer over a painted metal menorah made of 8 little men, each holding a candle, marching on a square of tinfoil on the kitchen table. My father would sit 20 feet away on the couch watching a football game. We would sing, and then the game would drone on behind us. Philadelphia's got the ball just on the Pennsylvania line. Elohim, Melech Olam. 2nd and 7th and 7 at the 47. The pass to Leroy Harris. Asher Kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu chochem. Nice try on the pass, incomplete. And then my sister and I would be broken into laughter, which got my little brother going, and then Mom would start yelling at us, and then she'd start yelling at my dad to turn off the TV, and all the while stumbling through the end of the second prayer. Dad, oblivious in the background. This was our holiday tradition for 8 nights each December. But now that I was in London, I wasn't going to go home. I wanted to see the Middle East, a desire that grew from a lifetime of telling the story of the Jewish exodus from Egypt every April over gefilte fish and matzo ball soup. I knew my parents would never let me go alone to Cairo, but I had a plan. If I went to Israel and Egypt, and didn't mention Egypt, it would help them worry less. So back in my room, I picked up the phone. Mom, hi, it's me. I would really like to see Israel over break. Would it be okay if I didn't come back for the holidays? I could hear relief in my mom's voice, a subtle tone that said, I didn't screw everything up. She still wants to be a Jew. Walking through the streets of Tel Aviv, everyone looked like me. I felt something ancient called to safety within my clan, a feeling that wrestled with images of Palestinian children with dirty faces, holding machine guns and throwing rocks at soldiers in the streets. I didn't know where to put all the conflicting information. And at the youth hostel, I was one of many 20-something travelers, but I felt outside, disconnected. They all seemed to possess a sense of belonging, which to me was as foreign as the Middle East. I was still searching for this wellspring of connection, a spiritual tin can with a string that could touch other people. The next morning, I headed to the airport to board a plane for Cairo. Every bag was searched by Israeli soldiers looking for bombs. I cringed at the size of the airplane, which held 24 people. The captain also wants to live, I told myself. On board, I shuffled off my shoes and sat knees up with my Egypt guidebook and a pen circling hotels. In Cairo, a rickety metal staircase was wheeled to the exit door and unfolded like a gawky winged pterodactyl. The metal swayed under feet as a warm Egyptian breeze puffed out my dress. We were flanked on the ground by 4 soldiers holding semi-automatic weapons. Being Jewish felt illegal. As I approached the customs agent, I thought, do I look too Jewish? Will a war break out? Will I be sold into slavery? Have a good stay in Cairo, he said, stamping my passport. I was in. Specifically, I was in the airport. So far, my plan was going super good. I had gone to Israel, which made me not a liar, and the quick flight to Egypt had gone off without a hitch. So I dropped a coin with a chink down the payphone's metal chute and called the first hotel circled in Let's Go Egypt. No rooms. I tried another, also booked. The next one was full. This went on for quite a while. I was just thinking maybe I could sleep in one of those orange plastic chairs when this kind white woman in her 50s tapped my shoulder and offered to let me stay with her family on the floor, her hotel. We took a private shuttle bus in air-conditioned comfort to the Nile Hilton. And in the morning, I packed my bag while they gathered for the hotel breakfast buffet. I loved my pretend family, but this was Egypt from behind the glass. And also, I had reached my upper limit of comfort. So like the Buddha, I left the palace for the plebeian chaos of the streets. Car horns, street vendors, I swam into the stream of foot traffic. A brown leather Adidas bag balanced effortlessly on the head of a woman in a long black burqa. A man sold pig's legs from a metal bucket, and a boy on a bicycle wound his way between a Mercedes-Benz and a donkey cart. The market erupted with the scent of cardamom, cinnamon, and honey-fried dough. I bought an orange soda from a man seated amongst piles of peach-colored newspapers written in Arabic, cartons of unrefrigerated eggs, and rows of Fanta. Don't know why, but yes, Fanta. Swept away by the feeling of invisibility and the ubiquitous sound of car horns. Sipping tea at a cafe, I met two Canadian backpackers who invited me to join their trip to the evening light show at the pyramids in Giza. One of them pulled out a map and pointed to the bus station. "This is the main terminal," he said. "Meet us here at 6 p.m. So imagine like Port Authority, but outside, and everything written in Arabic. We found each other, but we couldn't decipher the bus that went to Giza, and nobody spoke English. And then out of nowhere, a taxi just pulled up beside us, and the driver rolled down his window and shouted, "I take you, get in!" We all looked at each other and jumped into the cab. The driver had used his only English phrase right out of the box, and now we were totally on our own. "We are going to Giza," said one of the Canadians. The driver didn't seem to understand. "Giza, Giza, pyramids," he repeated, making a triangle point with his thumbs and pointer fingers. "Ah, Giza," he shouted back. The car accelerated along an 8-lane highway with no barriers and no lines painted on the roads. The other Canadian boy started searching for common ground with our driver that went something like this. "Automobile," Canadian boy. "Automobile!" Our driver pulled a stick shift out of the housing and waved it around in the air, laughing hysterically. We all started to laugh. "Nasser, Sadat," said the Canadian boy. "Mussolini, Hitler." Driver, was it a joke? I don't know. We had a quick discussion about other words that would translate, and one of the boys shouted, "Hashish!" And our driver was now laughing hysterically, driving 100 miles an hour, shouting, "Hashish! Hashish!" And he threw a ball of hash to the boy in the back seat as the car swerved and dodged through high-speed traffic, the sun setting in the western sky. A few minutes later, in the dim light of dusk, we pulled up right next to the pyramids of Giza. Their great stone facades cut upward against the dark sky, lit by a half moon and a sweeping splash of stars. Our driver just sped off, leaving us in the sand with a ball of hash the size of a Coney Island jawbreaker, a mile from the light show. I was drinking in the peaceful majesty of the place and my place in it when a smallish man in a traditional blue tunic approached us out of absolutely nowhere. "Come," he gestured to the massive monument before us. "I show you. We climb the pyramid." The boys were all in, but I was like, rape, white slavery, violence for small offenses like showing your ankles. "I don't think it's a good idea," I said. They started walking away, and I could feel my hands sweat and the panic rise in me as I rushed to catch up. We followed like ducks to the base of the pyramid. The stones were massive blocks, rough in places, smooth in others. Some were half my height. Slowly we made our way up a secret route of climbable stones. Each had a foothold or an angle that allowed you to wind your way up the face of the pyramid. Every few minutes, a blue or pink searchlight from the event would swoop down or across, and our guide would say, "Down, down!" And then we would all crouch into the shadows like something out of a Scooby-Doo episode, hoping the tourists a mile away wouldn't see us in the great pyramid light show of 1987. Finally, we reached the top. And I am here to tell you that spot was hands down the most peaceful place I have ever been. I had only to reach a hand skyward to touch the stars. I was 21 years old, filled with angst and possibility, but there at the apex of the Giza pyramid, I was a sage.